Today is Monday, July 16th, 2019. The good old days of trucking are over. Too many companies are folding, closing their doors, laying employees off. You can no longer depend on having a career in trucking long term. I can't begin to even name the companies that have went out of business just since April of 2019. The latest is LME, Lakeville Motor Express, laying off almost 400 to 600 drivers. Let's watch.
More than 60 workers out of a job with no notice. LME Trucking left metro area employees and hundreds more across the country hanging the day before pay. 41 Action News reporter Ariel Rothfeld looked into the company. She has the story you will only see right here on 41 Action News.
Krista, take a look. This is what LME looked like today. Empty, no one there. All we found were employees who were trying to get their money for up to 3 weeks of now unpaid work. Ask any one of these men and their stories are all the same.
Driving down the road, my boss called me.
Where you at? I'm at Bizine. Well, leave. Head on back.
Everybody's throwing their arms up in the air and on their phones and like, what's going on? I hear from a couple of people, LME shut down.
Their employer, LME Trucking, abruptly closing its doors, leaving more than 60 employees in Kansas City without a job, without notice, the day before payday.
Out of a job, out of money. They didn't even pay us today.
No one was at the Kansas City terminal on Friday, and our phone calls to headquarters in Minnesota on both Thursday and Friday. This is Ariel Rothfield calling. Went unanswered and unreturned.
My heart stopped.
With the baby due in a couple of days, Christian Dawson had started working 6 days a week at LME. He's considered one of the lucky employees because he got his paycheck for this week early.
I feel restless now. I've been up since 6 a.m. this morning, and that's when I'm at work.
All 30 of the company's terminals have closed. The website letting customers know LME Incorporated will no longer be making pickups or deliveries of freight due to unforeseen circumstances and have ceased operations.
Coming in the morning, you got a job, and you come back from work, and now you're unemployed.
This isn't the first time the company has shut down without warning. 41 Action News learned LME used to be called Lakeville Motor Express. In 2016, they were sued by employees for shutting down some locations without notice. The latest shutdown comes a month after LME began paying the multi-million-dollar settlement.
The first thing that came to my mind, how am I going to feed my family? It's almost like they didn't care.
Now these employees are trucking from one company to the next, applying for jobs, hoping eventually they'll get paid.
We didn't get any kind of warning. Maybe we can, have a little time to go find something, but they just dropped the bomb on us right at the last minute.
The Missouri Department of Labor has received several phone calls about LME today. The agency tells me employees can file a complaint with the Missouri Division of Labor Standards, but the state does not have legal authority to compel employers to pay their employees. The best recourse is to file suit in court. We have much more on our website about LME and what other steps the former employees can take.
LME Trucking had about 60 employees here at the facility in Kansas City and another 500 plus at locations all across the country. Now every one of those workers is without a job, and they're all looking for answers about what happened and for their missing paycheck money. Don Session is the proud father of an 8-year-old with autism. His son made this paper chain to help count down the days till a family trip to Disney.
Telling my son that he's not going to get to go to Disney is not going to be easy. He's been looking forward to it for a while.
Money's a lot tighter now after Don lost his job at the end of last week. He'd been working for LME Trucking since March.
It was like the perfect job. It really was. They treated us well. There was no warning. There was no whispers or rumors around the office.
Now he and nearly 60 Kansas City co-workers are unemployed.
They just called me at 4:30. I was out delivering, and they said, bring it in. We're all fired.
He then learned LME shut down all operations nationwide. Nearly 600 workers let go instantly, which likely violates the Federal WARN Act. It requires a 60-day notice for large layoffs.
It's a driver's market. I'm sure we'll all end up okay, but it's tough. Mentally it's hard to swallow, and and then actually physically going out and finding a good job.
And to make matters worse, LME workers say they're not getting money. They're still owed.
We are 2 weeks behind on our pay, so we were scheduled to get paid Friday morning, and of course that didn't go into our bank, and so now I'm 2 weeks behind. So that's 3 weeks total that we will not get paid.
There were signs LME was in trouble elsewhere. The company faced a union fight in Minnesota, which led it to file bankruptcy in 2017. After its sudden shutdown, it posted this message on its website saying employees might have to wait 90 days or more for their money.
They may have made multiple decisions now that's borderline fraud, and it's getting into that area. So I hope somebody can go after them.
Local workers here in Kansas City are now contemplating a class action lawsuit against the company. They're also filing complaints with the U.S. Department of Labor in hopes of recovering those lost wages. Kara Mashik, Fox 4 News.
For joining us, Charlotte has the night off. Tonight, close to 30 employees in the city of Janesville say they've been blindsided by a sudden move their company made. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us now from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with how these employees ended up jobless and short on close to a month's worth of pay. Adam?
Yeah, Eric, yesterday at around 3 p.m., workers for LME Trucking Company were told to go home, not just for the day, but for good. Now they're asking questions as to why this happened and what's going to happen with their paychecks.
Dozens of employees trying to figure out their next move. Employees like Ed Burns.
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on.
Burns has driven for LME Trucking for 13 years. But just yesterday,
Just got notice that we were told to bring the trucks in, and we had no explanation of why or what was going on.
The company folded with no warning to its 30 employees in Janesville or its hundreds of employees across the Midwest.
He called us and told us to bring the trucks in. We're done.
The front page of the company website issuing the only apology these employees say they've heard so far, saying due to unfortunate circumstances, they're closing up shop, effective immediately.
I've tried to contact a few numbers that were given, and there's no answers. You go to voicemail, so I contacted my insurance, and they've been notified they're waiting for a call on to find out whether we have health insurance.
But it's not just insurance these employees say they're worried about.
We don't get a paper stub.
It's the 3 weeks pay they say they worked for but still don't have.
We get paid every week, and today we did not get paid.
They're out thousands of dollars. But to make matters worse, they were forced to leave the millions of dollars in deliveries, both in the loading dock and in the trucks outside.
They're full. That's full of freight in there.
Full of our customers' freight
From yesterday.
that we picked up yesterday.
They say some of these trucks need to be refrigerated, but with several triple-digit forecasts over the next few days, they won't be. Inside the trucks, plastic paint cans and other flammable materials. Burns says he and his co-workers were left with no real options.
You either take a job and relocate, which you really don't want to do because your families are here and your friends are here, or you suffer and take a lower paying job.
The employees that I talked to today say this isn't the first time this company's been in a bit of legal trouble. In fact, back in 2016, they were involved in a lawsuit with the National Labor Relations Board. But worst of all, the employees I talked to say is that they were just given no notice that this was going to happen. And even if they do find other jobs, they say they're really going to miss out on that 3 weeks pay.
Adam Duxter in Rock County tonight at the Janesville Gazette.
They had the Sunday night guys come in on their 6th day on Friday and load trailers and clean the dock off, boom, 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 just clean it all up. Now you're thinking you're taking care of customers. You don't know it's your own demise that you were actually loading up the trailers to get rid of all the freight. As soon as that last guy went out Saturday morning on there, they put the sign on the gate, they locked the gate.
We put 10 hours in that day, and I get a call from my union steward that they closed the doors. No warning, no saying, no, we're not going to take anybody.
Most of them found out Sunday night, Monday morning that we were out of a job. And then we found out 2 days later we would not get our paychecks for the last 2 weeks' work.
I lost 2 weeks, probably about 93 hours of wages, which is about $2,300. I'm struggling. I'm getting minimum available funding from the state for unemployment. I've been late on all my necessary bills. I've been getting phone calls. It's hard. It's been hard on my kids the most.
Plus, when they shut the gates, they completely cut off our insurance. They canceled everything. So we had families out there with no insurance, no nothing, and they didn't know until Monday morning. And they had this all in the works way prior to that shutting down. They knew all of this. Steve was a dock worker. His wife's disabled. Her meds are somewhere between, it was like $4,000 a month or $4,500 a month, but with insurance it was way, way down. That's gone. There was 3 guys or 4 guys that were on workman's comp. One guy had knee surgery like within the week of the shutdown. Now that's all done. Now everything's gonna somehow kind of come over out of his own pocket.
I'm very angry right now, and it's affecting my home life with my family, and struggling a little bit, but I know there's people worse off than me, you know. Thank God I've got the union behind me to help me, and there's other programs that have helped me out, and same way with my brothers here, and you know, we're all sticking together.
The timing of it was really suspicious. When they closed it down 3 days before Thanksgiving, so they wouldn't have to pay the Thanksgiving benefit. I lost 4 days of vacation, and December 17th I was supposed to get 3 fresh weeks.
And at my age, I'll be 57 quick here. You start over again, you're at the bottom again. You don't have too many choices. At a new company, you're going to be working nights, you're going to be working long hours, you're going to be away from your family.
We're willing to stand out here in sub-zero weather. We want our money. You know, we want to be treated fairly and with a little bit of respect, and that's all we ask.
And let's not forget about Arrow's CEO, Doug Pielsticker, who left about 700 drivers stranded in 2009 all over the United States. More on that here.
Just obtained this indictment, just unsealed, accusing the former CEO of Arrow Trucking of, among other things, bank fraud. The former CEO of Arrow Trucking, James Doug Pielsticker, out of jail after facing a federal judge in Dallas today. He's accused of defrauding Transportation Alliance Bank out of more than $15 million, along with the IRS. Some of that money going to buy a Porsche, Bentley, and a Maserati. 2 News reporter Liz Bryant just spoke with a former Arrow driver and joins us now live from Catoosa. Liz.
And Libby, that former Arrow truck driver now works here at Melton Truck Lines in Catoosa. He said he had to get this job real fast. He was, of course, suddenly out of a paycheck. He started working here just 2 weeks after. So Raymond Lewis tells me that he was suddenly stranded in Lexington, Kentucky about 5 years ago in 2009, just 3 days before Christmas. He had 11 missed calls on his cell phone just to find out he was out of a job by Arrow. Now he tells me that he got $400 out of the bank to go rent a car and drive back home. He also says that he is relieved because, well, Arrow Trucking's former CEO, Doug Pielsticker, quote, got what was coming, as Raymond said.
I went to work for Arrow in '99 when Daddy was still alive, so he knew what he did. Hope him and his second wife is very happy.
Now let's give you some background on this case. It all happened nearly 5 years ago. Arrow Trucking Company shut its doors 3 days before Christmas, canceling drivers' fuel cards, leaving them stranded all across America. Not only did 1,400 Arrow Trucking employees suddenly not have a job, semi-drivers didn't have a truck. Trucks they were in the process of buying outright. Now, coming up tonight at 6, I'll reveal what Pielsticker Raymond Lewis says is actually a victim in all this. Live in Catoosa right now, Liz Bryant, 2 News, works for you.
And there you have it, folks. The trucking industry. It's always been an industry full of shady, seedy, scrupulous characters trying to sell you snake oil medicine like it was a medicine sideshow. Come drive our trucks. Get a bonus, sign-on bonus. Buy a truck with no money down. Become an owner-operator. It's all a sideshow, just like these gypsy snake oil salesmen that you see out here trying to sell people medicine, and it's really nothing more than horse piss in a fancy bottle with a fancy label. And that's what the trucking industry's been up to the last 30, 35 years. Trying to sell people bullshit. Trying to get you to buy their trucks with little or no money down, only so they can repossess it from you when they decide to quit giving you freight to haul and you get behind on your payments. Just like these people you've seen here losing their jobs. A lot of you drivers out there think, well, the company you're working for has been around 20, 30, 40 years. Yeah, well, so was Roadway, PIE, Navajo, Jones Motor Lines, and a whole lot of the rest of them. Don't be so naive just because you think your company's been around 20 or 30 years that it won't go under. If that's your mentality, you're very naive. Remember this. TWA was around a long time too. So was Pan Am Airlines. So was Braniff, Eastern, Continental Airlines. PSA, you see where they're all at. So don't start thinking because your company's been around 20, 30, 40 years that you got job security. Because you don't, especially in the trucking industry. What you got is a job while you got a job. And that's about all you got. And then when you don't have one, this is what you're going to get. No notice, no nothing. Just like these people did at this LME truck line, just like Arrow truck lines did to their drivers, stranding drivers all over the United States. Tough shit. You got a job while you got a job. That's about all you got, and that's all you'll ever have. Remember that. Don't drink the Kool-Aid that you got job security. None of you do. And don't start thinking you do. Remember that. Remember what I said about Pan Am and TWA and Braniff and Eastern Continental Airlines. Those people all thought they had job security too. Yeah. Good luck with that. Food for thought. Don't buy into the snake oil salesman bullshit with these trucking companies. And don't bend over backwards for them. The only thing they need out of you is the last 10 years of your work history and a clean MVR with very few accidents and tickets on it. Anything beyond that they want you to sign as far as a background check into your credit history or anything else, refuse to sign it, especially if it's by hire right. Otherwise used to be known as DAC services, USIS. Do not sign any paperwork or documentation that has to do with hire right, USIS DAC services. They've been caught by the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission by providing false information to employers, especially trucking employers. All you got to do is go to Google and type in hire right lawsuits. Watch what comes up. Type in hire right lawsuits into Google. You'll see what a fraudulent, phony company these trucking companies are using to try to base whether they want to hire you or not by checking your background, and they're using a fraudulent, corrupt, phony company to do it, who has inaccurate information on you, the one seeking a job. To think these trucking companies actually would use a fraudulent, phony company like HireRight to do background investigations, or checks, I should say, into potential employees to come to work driving a truck. That shows you how stupid these idiots are in the trucking business, in corporate, using a company like HireRight to do a background check. And they're not even a reputable outfit. These trucking companies are all going to go under before long. They're just that ignorant and stupid. Have a good day.